Alright, welcome back everyone to another episode of Ocean Outlast Experts. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am. We're jumping right back on into things. And it has been a little bit of time since I've actually come in and recorded an episode. A lot of times I will record episodes in advance. And so it's just been a few days since I've been in the world. I've been thinking of things that we could do. And actually the last time that I was in here, it was for a live stream. Now, as I mentioned all the time, I do live stream. Those are over on Twitch. I have it linked down in the description. So if you want to catch up on any of those videos, anything that we've been doing over there, feel free to jump over there, check out some videos, maybe give a follow over there so you can keep up to date when we do go live, because we do stream this every so often. I have been switching up, streaming some other things as well, but that is in the description down below. So one thing that we did in the last stream, the main thing that we did in the last stream was try to open up some space over in our Botania, Thaumcraft, PSI area for an additional mod to be done over here. Now this is just some preparation. We're not going to get into it today, but looking at where we need to ultimately end up going to, I think that this would be a good thing to start getting set up for. So obviously over here we have our Botania set up. Here we have our nice house where we can keep most of our stuff that we are using. Like we have our Thaumcraft right here, we have our PSI over here, and then we have some more Thaumcraft stuff down in the basement. But what we ultimately need is some more land space. So what I crafted up, or what I built up, thanks to the help from the community over in the stream, we got a bridge going over here. So we took out, if you guys remember, there was a kind of floating island over here. It was a normal island with a large upper half of it. Realistically, the physics of it didn't make any sense. It wasn't going to work in the real world. But what I ultimately did is I went ahead, I tore it all the way down to the ground down here, and then I expanded on that island to make some more space so that we could ultimately do some stuff over here. So we made this cool bridge that ties in with our aesthetics of this area. So a lot of browns and dark colors with some lanterns, making it a little bit more creepy looking. And then what we can do is we come down over here and we have this whole space over here to do stuff. It doesn't seem like it's that big, and honestly we might even need to expand it a little bit more to come this way and expand out more. But I'm setting this up in preparation for eventually getting into Bewitchment. So if we take a look here at Bewitchment, this was a mod that we did on our MC Eternal playthrough, and it was very interesting. It was actually a lot of fun to get into and tinker with. A lot of cool, you know, like creepy, almost Halloween-esque vibe to it, which is awesome. And it makes sense for this area. I really, really love that. But if we take a peek here, I mean, there's a bunch of different flowers we need. There's statues that we can get, different robes and things like that. The biggest thing, though, that we need space for is our chalks. So eventually when we do get into Bewitchment, we'll have to do some rituals in order to get things. We'll have an altar, and then we'll have some chalk to make ritual signs, ritual circles on the ground, so that we can actually produce some of the items that we need for it. Now again, I'm not getting into it today. That's not the plan for today's episode. I just wanted to recap you guys on what we had been doing on the live stream. But I think this is going to be a great area for once we do get into that phase. Now, I also put some mycelium. I always pronounce it wrong. It's in the normal Minecraft world. It's from a mushroom biome. And we found it out exploring on the stream as well. And I just placed it down here. I felt like it would be kind of a cool looking vibe going on over here. You know, the different darker colored grass would be pretty cool. And I believe once it does kind of grow out, it will spawn mushrooms as well, which is pretty cool. Now, the other thing that we did do, I should say, is we cleaned up over here. So I just cleaned up some of this land over here. We expanded out, just added in some more cobblestone, just aesthetically cleaned things up a wee bit over here. And that's pretty much it. We didn't really do too much else. It was a fairly short stream. So pretty easy to catch you guys up on what we had done. Now you might be wondering, what are we doing in today's episode? Well, there's one thing that's been nagging at me for quite some time that I feel like it's finally time that we get into and we get crafted up so we can actually utilize it. And that would be the pulverizer from thermal expansion. Now, that hasn't been the first item on our thermal expansion list. The first one was actually our induction smelter. However, that's actually kind of getting bumped down to third place at this point, because the pulverizer has so much more use to us right now than the induction smelter would have. Because ultimately what we ended up going with was an alloy smelter from Ender.io, and this thing works incredible. So I don't see a reason to necessarily jump right to an induction smelter. However, the pulverizer has some really good benefits for us, and that is mainly because we have been collecting a bunch of diamond gear. That is right, if you've been paying attention, we have collected pretty much every single diamond armor, tool, weapon, anything that we could find along the way. Some of it having enchants that we could eventually use down the line. We've been pulling enchants off of these bad boys as we go. Other ones that we don't really need the enchantments for, but just definitely want to keep with us for this specific reason as well. So for example, if we go in here, we take a look at these diamond boots. The only way we can get some diamonds out of this is with a pulverizer. So we can pulverize up, I'm pretty positive, any of these diamond equipment, tools, gear, whatever it may be, and actually get real diamonds out of them. Now, there are certain things, certain diamond items, I think it's the diamond horse armor, you can actually grind up in, I think, I don't remember what exactly it is. We could actually look real quick here. But it's the one thing that you don't necessarily need. Here it is. You don't need a pulverizer for. Yes, you can actually use a crusher to get diamond dust and then use this diamond dust to craft up diamonds. And I think what I used it in was, yeah, the enrichment chamber. Great way to get diamonds. But for us, yeah, this is what we're going to do. I want to get a pulverizer up and going so that we can pulverize up some of this diamond gear, or at least have the option to, so we can get some of these diamonds from it, because really our diamond storage is pretty low right now. Now, there are other ways you can get diamonds, don't get me wrong. We have our void ore miner, which is getting diamonds for us. We could even put a different lens on that if we really wanted to. There are different lens colors that will allow us to get what we need from that. For example, right now we have our yellow laser lens on there, which helps with getting glowstone, with getting gold, and maybe one other thing as well. But I believe that we can get one specifically for diamonds. So if we take a peek here, we can go into the actual diamond itself. You can click all the way through. Actually, you want the ore. That's what you want. Because you're not actually getting diamonds, you're getting the ore from the void ore miner. And as you can see, if we had a cyan laser lens on there, it would bump up our chances of getting diamonds from about 2% to about almost 6%. Which doesn't seem like much, but for the void ore miner, it's a relatively decent bump. And even so, if we come up here and we look at our reserves of diamonds, we only got 2 in there. So not that amazing. It really would be great if we had another way of getting diamonds easily. And because we found so much gear and we can easily go out and probably find some more gear, I think it would definitely be worth it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to spend some time getting all of our resources together. And then hopefully I will meet you guys down at our combination crafting so that we can get this all thrown together and finally get our pulverizer up and going. So we will be right back. Alright guys, so I was going to get everything together, like I said, but there's one thing I noticed that I probably should run through with you guys. So in the pulverizer recipe, everything is pretty straightforward. The flint blocks, you get these from taking gravel in the clay kiln. Pretty straightforward. We've done those before. Emerald gears we've done before, and we have a new way of actually getting those through a machine rather than Botania. Our redstone reception coils, very easy, and then 2 blocks of steel. Now these are where it gets a little bit tricky. The piston upgrades. So these boys come from open computers, and they do take a few more resources than what we are used to. So one of the things that we are going to need is a microchip tier 1. Now to get those, we have to create a transistor, and to get a transistor, we just have to get that going. So it's pretty straightforward to get those. It's just something different that we haven't gone through before. And let me just double check. We need 2 of these, so we're going to need 2 of the microchips, right? Yeah. Well, we're going to get 8 of them. Now it's very nice because the recipe for those does have a high yield to it. So we do get a lot of bang for our buck. Now the other thing that we're going to need is a printed circuit board, which we need a raw circuit board for, which again is fairly straightforward to get as long as you have what you need for it. So the only thing that we still need is some green dye. Now we can use cactus green, which is perfect because we do have some cactuses. I'll grab one of these, and then we should be able to throw it right on in here. It'll get that, it'll throw it into our system just like so. And then we can get what we need to get our raw circuit board up and going. And luckily it actually gives us quite a few of them. And then all we gotta do is we gotta cook these bad boys up too. So there we go, it'll get those cooked up and it'll put it right back into our system for us. If we look up circuit board, there we go. So with that all being said and done, we should be able to get what we need. So we'll get that, and we'll get that. Perfect. So we have our 2 piston upgrades there. And then we can come down here. This should be done. Yep, there's all 6 flint blocks that we need. And then what we can do is we can actually head downstairs to our combination crafter and get this all set up. Now the other thing I did want to just call out really quickly is we have been adding on to our different ores here as we've collected things from loot bags. So I did want to point that out. This is a great way to get molten iron and bronze to eventually get those resources if you are getting low on them. Just hold on to certain things that you get from those loot bags. They're definitely useful. And then the one other thing I do want to mention is our energy pack. I actually upgraded it. So the jetpack that we have, so we got the jetpack, we made the jetpack, and all it has is 30k EU, which is not that much. It does not hold a charge for very long, especially if you plan to go out and do some exploration. Now what we did is we actually upgraded it. So if we go in here and you take a peek, as you can see, you can attach a electric jetpack to pretty much any kind of chest plate. Now for us, we attached it to something different. What is it called? Energy pack. We attached it to an energy pack. Now basically, this is just it's almost like a chest piece to wear, and it'll hold 2 million EU, which is what will actually charge your jetpack. So basically, this is just upgrading your jetpack realistically. So it's pretty straightforward to make. The hardest thing are these energy crystals, which take a lot of resources. I believe it was a lot of redstone, and then a lot of emeralds, and then I think I needed a lot of ender pearls as well. Yeah, it's a long recipe to make, and I did do that. I think I did that on stream. So it's a lot of resources to use, but definitely worth the effort to go in and do it, considering our flux capacitor is not going to charge it. Our flux capacitor outputs in RF, and our jetpack obviously takes EU, and those are not cross compatible, at least when it comes to that. But anywho, so coming back down here to our combination crafter to focus on what we have at hand, first and foremost, let's get our surrounding items put in place. Now, I don't think we have to put them in the order that it shows in the recipe. I think they just need to be placed on the pedestals, if I'm not mistaken. We will find out relatively shortly if that is the case or not. And then just our last few items here, just like so. And then our machine frame in the middle. And I probably should have been a little bit more prepared, but that's fine. I'm gonna get some, I did not mean to do that. There we go. Let me get some cobblestone here. Yeah, I was gonna say, we definitely have a lot of cobblestone. I believe our F1 is still working. Yep, our F1 is working, which is perfect. So that'll do just fine. Always gotta get that thumbnail going. So there we go. We have our pulverizer, which is perfect. So we come back upstairs. I do not need to take the stairs. Sometimes I forget about that. We can just take our elevators up here. We have our pulverizer, and we can plop it down right in the spot I have designated for it. And as most of you already know, you can come in here, turn off all of the configuration for it, so that it's not outputting anywhere. Cool, so we should be good to go. So now what we should be able to do is take some of our diamonds, like these diamond boots, and we'll take this diamond chest plate, maybe some of this helmets, some of these things that we don't necessarily have any enchantments on just yet, or we've taken all of the enchantments off of. Just because it will be nice to go back through and just double check to make sure that we are not missing out on anything, on any of these enchanted weapons. And look at that, we have 7 unenchanted diamond swords, which is pretty crazy because we can utilize these in the pulverizer and get 1 diamond each. That's 7 diamonds right there. May not seem like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it will be extremely nice. Now, this is going to be slow. We could get a speed upgrade for it. Why don't we do that? So, if we go to thermal, we are going to need a hardened upgrade kit. Now, we do have to go into the Arcane Workbench in order to do that. And I don't think I did this on episode. We do need blocks of Invar for it. Holy smokes, I forgot about that. And a bronze gear. And a redstone servo. The redstone servo is actually not that bad to make. But what we can do in the meantime, I think this will work if I take a chest, right? Take 1 chest, we'll stick it on top. We want the top, I believe this is the top, to be the input. And if I throw all of this stuff in here, I think it will take from the top. Will it take from the top? No, we need to pipe it in, unfortunately. All right. That's fine. I'll just leave it there like that for the time being. And then let's grab what we need. So I do have Invar blocks over here. So we got 4 of those. And what I really should do is I should have bookmarked this. Come back over here. So what we can do is we get our bronze gear up and going just like so. And then we just need our 2 other items. So those would be these servos. And these are really, really easy to make. Just some redstone and iron. Pretty straightforward. And then all we got to do is go over to our Arcane Workbench and get those crafted up. Now before we go over there, I did want to take a peek in here because we want to get our speed upgrade. Right here, processing speed upgrade. It's pretty straightforward to do. Actually, not bad at all to make. It's funny how these are a lot easier to make than the actual upgrade kits themselves. And just like that, we have the reception coil upgrade, which will increase the maximum power usage, and it will output a decent amount of items for us, or it'll just speed up the process in general. I don't think there was one, if I'm not mistaken, for the pulverizer itself. Let me just take a peek here. So there actually is one that is specialized to the pulverizer. As you can see, when we hover over it, it has the different name as it's respective to the machine. So this one only works for the pulverizer. For example, these first few here just say machines. So this will work with any machine, but then there's these few that only work with certain ones like redstone furnace, pulverizer, sawmill, etc. Now this pulverizer does have a special one, the tectonic initiator, but this just increases yield from ores. So we could get that and utilize it on some of the ores we're getting from our void ore miner, but I don't think it's really necessary right now. We could always do it down the line if we really, really felt like we wanted to have it. So let's get over here to our little creepy hut and to our Arcane Workbench. Where did you come from? You're not supposed to be there. All right, so we should be able to automatically populate this based off of the JEI, which is awesome. I love that it works like that for the thaumic table here. And then we have our aqua and our air, so we can get our hardened kit upgrade perfectly. The only thing I do want to note is we will be getting back into PSI. I actually did a little bit of it on stream. So as you can see, we're actually at level 4. I'm thinking about maybe progressing up until the level 10 point where we can craft the PSI metals, and then maybe doing a sole episode on how to actually progress through it, because I know it is quite confusing, and I know there's not the most help, especially as it's regarded to this pack, because this pack has some special changes that are made to it. So anywho, so what we should be able to do is we will take this, throw it on there just like so, throw our augment upgrade in there, and we should be rocking and rolling. Now, really what we would want to do is kind of have everything pipe into it. But I don't really have any pipes ready. Let me see. Do I have any item any item ducts here? I do have an item duct. Okay. What about a servo? We are going to need a servo. We have the Signalium one, but it wasn't working properly for me. So let me get this out of the way here. Just like so. I'm going to throw this on here. And then we'll throw our chest up on the top. And I'll throw that on there. Okay, I guess it's working this time. And we just want to make sure that it's ignored. And then I just want to throw all of this stuff in here. And now the Signalium on this is kind of overkill. We really don't need it to be that high tier of a servo. But I just had it sitting around, so why not? And this will just take everything and just start pulverizing it up for us automatically. Now really our best bet to get a lot of this stuff, rather than individually pulling it out from our chests, is just to come down here and look into our crates and just find what we need. I mean, realistically, we'll spend a lot less time pulling things out if we just do it like so. Now, as you can see, things are a little bit messy down here, but it's perfectly fine. These are just my overflow chests where it's things that don't really have a good home right now. But anywho, actually, wait a minute. I noticed something that wasn't supposed to be in here. This Inferium Essence, do I not have a home for it? Or is its home already filled up? Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, it's already all full up. So we're going to actually have to put an upgrade on this one down here, which I don't think I have any upgrades left. Yeah, I do not. So let's just do that really quickly while we're here and we're thinking about it. So we're going to need some of these, which we do need a chest for, or a drawer for, I should say. And then what I always do, I just skip to the highest tier. The highest tier is emeralds, and it automatically gives you storage to 30 times to the base value. And it just takes, it's really straightforward. It just takes emeralds. So if you got a lot of emeralds, it's totally worth it. And there we go. We got that all set up. Now I'm guessing then there's going to be some Inferium just hanging out in here. We actually have Ender Pearls in here too, which is a little bit surprising. I thought I did have a space for Ender Pearls, but this one might be full up as well, which might make sense to also get another one going and put it on this one. Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised on that we have Ender Pearls sitting in here, just like so. Can I put these in there now? Yep, okay, cool. And then we could also clear out our Inferium Essence as well. Yeah, because we got a decent amount of that stuff hanging out that didn't ultimately make it into our drawers. I think that's going to do it. I think that's going to be all of it. I'm sure I'm probably missing some. I think what I could do is go like this. How do I spell it? E-R? Yeah. You can look up like this. So if you double click, you search for what you're looking for and you double click on it, it will darken out all of the other items that aren't named in it in some form or fashion. There we go. Missed two right there. And then keep highlighted the ones that you're looking for. So it's really useful in finding things, especially in crates like that. So there we go. Those are cleaned up. Definitely didn't need to do that right now, but since we had it available to us, I figured why not. All right, so let's throw these swords in there. Make sure we don't throw our sword in there. But look at that. We're already up to 24 diamonds. These are only going to give us one each, but still, it's a great way to get diamonds out of it. Now, if we go back into thermal expansion, I should say, we could upgrade this again to actually be able to output more ores for us, like we showed. So the pulverizer specialization. The only thing that we're going to need is some pyrotheum dust, which we need basal's powder, which we need these. I always forget how we get to these. Some essence on, okay, so we need to take essence and put it on pulverized obsidian, and that'll give us what we need. And unfortunately, we don't have a fluid transposer up and going, but we can put it on the list. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get that additional upgrade, but that is perfectly fine because I think we will be okay with what we currently have setup wise. And there we go, we are at 30 diamonds, which is insane. So with that all being said and done, we got about 5 minutes left in our episode, and what I really want to do is upgrade our bow. So we have our bow here. It's just a normal bow, nothing fancy on it, normal durability and everything. I think it would be useful to get some additional enchantments on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to accumulate some good enchantments, look through and see what would be best. I'll throw those up there as well. And then we will start getting some enchants on this bow. Alright guys, so I got some stuff together, got some enchantments ready, and we'll start on the path of getting this enchanted. I don't think I have enough levels, unfortunately, to get everything that I want. I'm not going to use the enchantment table right now. You can use this if you wanted to kind of get a good, a good starter point for your weapon, but for us, we have all these different ways of actually getting most of the enchantments that we would want and then being able to apply them. So this is what I'm going to go with. So first and foremost, what I did was I went into our enchanter and I got up and going our power one. So I've got the highest tier power, power 5, and all it takes is some flint, some lapis, and then it took 33 levels. So I used solidified experience. I used some from our mob farm, and I got our power 5 book. This will be awesome. It'll be super effective against enemies. Now, the other thing I do want to get up and going, I gotta put lapis in there, and then some of that, and then I also need a book and quill. I always forget I need a book and quill. So let's get a book and quill up and going. Hopefully I have everything that we need for it. I have everything except a book, per normal. So there we go, book and quill, perfect. We'll throw that in there, and we will get infinity, which is perfect. I definitely want to have infinity. Basically, I'm sure most of you already know, but infinity will allow you to only have to use one arrow as you're firing, and you can shift and it'll show you what it does. So it fires normal arrows for free, but you have to have at least one of the arrows to work. So if you're using a specialty arrow, infinity does not work, so just keep that in mind. So let's see, how much is power? Power takes 5 levels, infinity takes 4 levels, and we're pretty much sitting at nothing. So let's get some solidified experience, and hopefully I don't have to run back over. I might have to go back over and have our mob farm go for a little bit longer so that we can get everything that we need for this. So bow, and I also picked up mending and unbreaking because obviously we don't want this bow breaking on us. It has a good durability to start with, but we ultimately don't want it to be kicking the can on us as we're trying to use it. So then we'll put infinity on it, so we just need 5 levels. Just like so. Throw that on there. Throw that up there. Perfect. So now we have infinity. Now let's see what else it takes for some of these other things. I think mending would be very good. Okay, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we can actually put mending on there. What about unbreaking? We can put unbreaking, and it does cost 6 levels, which is fine. We got plenty. So we'll put that, and then we will put unbreaking, which is a little bit of a bummer. We can't use mending, but it is what it is. So now the only other thing that I did want to get on here was a flame one. So it would actually, set the enemies on fire as you use it. But unfortunately, it takes a little bit more levels that we don't have currently. So I think maybe one other thing that would be pretty good on here is if we got some XP boost on it. I think that would be awesome. Now, unfortunately, we don't have one sitting around for that. So we're going to have to take a peek at what we have on our armors in here. We should have one that has some XP boost on it. We just kind of got to take our time and almost look through pretty much all of them. I'm guessing what it'll be on is some of these weapons and tools down there. There's XP boost 2, but XP boost 3 would be awesome. There we go. We got it right there. So we can take this, we throw it in the enchantment extractor. It does take a book and it'll pull all the enchantments off of that item, which is really, really nifty to be able to have. So let's see if this is going to work. It does cost 10 levels. I don't think we're going to have enough. I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have our farm up and going for just a little bit longer to get that last enchantment on it. So let me do that, and then we will come back, we'll get that enchanted, and we'll wrap up the episode. All right, guys. So got the 10 levels that we needed. So we can throw our bow. our XP boost 3 in there, and we will get our awesome bow, which is perfect. And we can go test this out as well. So let's see if we have some enemies that we could take on out here. We got a little bit of lag here. There we go. Even if it is just a squid, I will take what I can get. Wow, of course, right when we need some squids, I do not see any spawning, which is kind of crazy. Oh, we do have a chameleon over here, which could work. Oof, okay, one hit KO on a chameleon. Now, a chameleon doesn't really have a lot of health, so I don't think it's like a very accurate measure of how powerful this bow is now. We'll go over to this island and see if there's any enemies that are actually spawning. Considering we have our whole area with lights over there, so we're not going to get any bad guys spawning. But over here we should be. We should have some enemies that are spawning. I'm not seeing any. Holy smokes, this is actually kind of cool. Kind of crazy that we don't have anything spawning over this way. Yeah, literally nothing at all over here. Now we do have some squids over there. We could try to hit them. Gotta aim a little bit higher. I feel like we're pretty close. There we go. Okay, one hit KO from this distance too. Look at that. That is not too shabby at all. Oh, and it looks like we do have some enemies that spawn now. We did get a zombie that spawned. Okay, so not a one-hit kill. Let me see. What health does he have? Because it'll show us health. So almost completely took him out. Which is not bad. I don't think that's bad at all. Compared to your base power on this, I think that's actually a relatively decent damage dealer, which is cool. Now, the one last thing I do want to do before we wrap up the episode is open a couple legendary loot bags that I have. So I actually have 3 diamond chests worth of loot bags that I do want to open, and there's actually a machine in the game that will automatically open them for you, but it does take a little bit to actually get to that point. We are going to work towards it though. So if I go in here and I'll show you what it is. It is, oh, where is it at? Loot crate storage, that's not what we need. Under loot bags. Loot bags, the bag opener. This is what we want. And it just takes a hungry chest from Thaumcraft, and we're just not to that point yet for some reason. Now this storage would be good. This block is capable of storing most loot bags and oh, that actually wouldn't be that bad, but it takes a hungry chest as well, which is the big bummer. All of these take hungry chests, and we're not to that point yet. Anywho, that's not the point. I do want to wrap up the episode relatively quickly here. Let's open some of these legendary loot bags. So we did get Enchanted Scroll of True Sight from Coral Tombstone, which has been added back in. I did mention that in the last episode. We got an empty map, some diamond leggings, and a bronze sword. That kind of goes back to what I was telling you guys before. Make sure you hold on to those when you find them. They're extremely useful when you're putting them into a smeltery. We have another enchanted scroll, a true sight this time, bronze, and then a diamond I'll take. And then this is what I typically do. I'm sure most of you already know. I kind of just get rid of anything else that we need. That has smashing on it? What is smashing? Used for crafting only. Oh, I don't know what smashing is though. I've never seen that before. Some bronze gear that again will be very, very useful for us. Last stand and some more bronze. And then our final one, let's see what we got. Enchanted Scroll of Feather Falling, which is pretty nice, and then a diamond helmet. So guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below, or better yet, leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking on this series, or if there's anything specific that you do want to see. If you're new to the channel, you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and bell notification. I'll let you know every single time a new episode is posted to the channel. I do stream over on Twitch. I mentioned that earlier in the episode, so I'm not going to go over it again. Check out the description down below for that. I also have a Discord where you can keep up to date on everything that's going on with the channel and with the stream as well. But guys, thank you so much for sticking through to the end. I appreciate it so very much. I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.